From the Wayne County Courthouse in Goldsboro, North Carolina, Wayne Goldsboro Television brings you the meeting of the Wayne County Board of Commissioners. The meeting begins shortly with an agenda briefing, then the regular meeting will begin soon after. Please stand by for the Wayne County Board of Commissioners meeting.
Good morning.
Morning.
And welcome, gentlemen. Everybody enjoyed their sandwich this morning.
Yeah.
I start getting here earlier so we can get in here on time. Let's see, Mr. Gurley, you got the invocation. You got Terry Johnson coming in to do that. And Ed, you've got the pledge for the minutes. Is there any adjustment to the agenda?
We've got one, Mr. Chairman, and that's under new business. We'd like to remove number 5. The county attorney wants to stay that a little more.
Okay. Anything else?
I think that's it. Carol, do you have anything? I didn't have anything else.
No, sir. So we're removing number 5?
Number 5 under new business.
Commissioners have anything they want to add? Okay. Then we'll have a update from the Maxwell Center by James Wade's going to come in, our new director over there. And just look at the consent agenda. Anything out of the ordinary on those exclusions?
No, they're all in order.
All right, let's take a look at the budget amendments.
Yes, sir. All right. First one is the final one to help us close out the 2016-2017 fiscal year. This is for Register of Deeds. They overcollected on their revenues, so we also have to pay more to the state because that's based on what we collect. So we just needed to increase our fees due to the state. That's a reallocation from an existing line item. So your next budget amendment is number 1, and that begins the first budget amendment for the 27-18 fiscal year. For social services, this is a budget amendment to fully fund a part-time income maintenance position to a full-time position, and this is supported by the state 75% and county 25%. The county's portion is being budgeted out of the DSS fund balance. For facilities, $275,400. This is a reappropriation of funds that were budgeted for the IT server room HVAC project.
Never be an end to that. They're just rub it in.
Sorry about that. For the sewer fund, $178,000, we're requesting to reappropriate this amount for the sewer lift station, and this is supported, the revenues are supported by the Golden Leaf Grant. For facility services, $124,900. This is also a reappropriation to pay out the remaining balance for the jail chiller units that had to be replaced. For cooperative extension, requesting to reappropriate $43,511.93. These are the various special program fees that he had collected, and they need to remain in those line items, so we're bringing those forward. For 4-H, we need to appropriate and anticipate the revenue related to their 4-H prevention grant, and this is the grant for their 17-18 fiscal year. We just didn't have those numbers at budget time. There are no county funds committed to this grant. For JCPC, Juvenile Crime Prevention Council, this is the monies we receive from the state every year. Basically, it's pass-through monies, and the council has a committee that determines how those funds are dispersed, and they monitor those programs accordingly. For Jetport, $110,000. This was sort of an outlier that just did not get budgeted in the Jetport fund. As you recall, we have an indirect cost plan, and it's internal accounting entries. It's not really any more money for the county. It's just a reallocation of how our expenditures are charged out to the departments, and we just did not get Jetport during budget time, so we're trying to get that one budgeted. For 4-H, $384. This was a donation that was actually just received before the year end, and they're just reappropriating that donation to bring it forward. The next several, numbers 14 through 17, are all reappropriations of our capital project funds. As you recall, these are multi-year projects that are budgeted, so you do not approve of them during the annual budget ordinance. So we have to actually bring those forward in our software system, and these do that. And that's through number 17. Number 18 is actually for the Board of Commissioners, $1,827. This is just some digitization, I think, that was done on the minutes, and we needed to pay an invoice. That was for a June invoice. We're bringing those monies forward. For the Sheriff's Office, $545.07. This is to record receipt of revenues for the controlled substance tax. For Social Services, $46,903.01. These are the special adoption funds, and those must remain in that program line item, so they need to be brought forward to the new fiscal year. And then the last one is also for Social Services. This is to anticipate and appropriate an additional $6208.49 to balance with the funding authorization for the Duke Energy Neighbor Fund program. And that is all of my budget amendments. There's some
Questions? Okay, thank you. Chip, if you'll come on up, sir.
Good morning. We've got this morning a subdivision preliminary plat approval for Willow Pond, Section 2. This is actually a revision of a previous subdivision preliminary. Kevin Daniels Construction is the owner-developer. Brian Jones is the engineer. It's located in the New Hope Township off South Beston Road. There are 51 lots. This preliminary consists of lots 35 through 85. Of course, with our subdivision regulations, before somebody can start development, they have to have a preliminary plan approved by the Board of Commissioners, and that's what they're doing here. The original Willow Pond is a revision of an original preliminary that was approved by the county in 2005. And since that's older than 5 years, our ordinance requires that it come back before the boards for review and approval, and that's why it's here. The revision consists of 51 residential lots, one permanently protected open space area, you can see on the map, and one mailbox kiosk space. The plat shows the extension of Willow Pond Drive and the construction of one new street, Weeping Willow Drive. The subdivision will be built on 33 acres off of South Beston Road, 1 mile south of its intersection with US 70. The property is zoned outer horizontal for height restrictions only. There are no map flood zones present. The average lot size is 18,200 square feet. There are 0.64 miles of streets to be installed per DOT requirements, and the building lots will utilize public water and on-site sewer. Permanently protected open space area, including the existing pond, is being used to credit them for stormwater requirements, and that will be dedicated to the homeowners association. This property is shown within an urban transition area in the county comprehensive land use maps. The property is within the Spring Creek High School, Spring Creek Middle, and Spring Creek Primary School Districts. It's serviced by East Wayne Sanitary District, serviced by Elroy Fire Department and EMS Station 1. It is within the Goldsboro MPO area for transportation planning. There are no water supply watersheds present, no voluntary ag districts, no wetlands, and it's in Board of Commissioners District 5. This plat went before the planning board and was recommended to be approved by the commissioners. If you've got any questions, if you look on page 55 is the aerial map there. Section 1 was built by the previous developer. The area behind that you have the star on top of was purchased, is being purchased by Mr. Kevin Daniels, and this preliminary will be addressing that section outlined in red. Everything in Section 1 was already built out and developed by a previous developer. And if you go to 56, you'll actually see the subdivision plat as it's laid out with the street layout. mailbox kiosk area. It's now a requirement that all subdivisions have centralized mailbox units, so it's, the days of having a mailbox at every household is gone. So all subdivisions now have a drive-up area, suitable for having however many lots you have, that's how many mailbox units are gonna be in that one place. And there's a centralized box, usually 12 to 20 per unit.
Is that a U.S. Postal Service requirement?
Yes, sir. U.S. Postal Service federal requirement. DOT has a set of regulations that deal with access to those box units, and when the subdividers are designing their road system, they have to get that approval. They design that access based on the DOT's requirements.
When did that become effective?
It's been effective probably at least 5 years.
5 years?
Yes.
It's just been.
Not enforced?
Hadn't been enforced here because the local postmaster did not enforce it until recently, maybe the last year and a half.
Chip,
Yes, sir.
on the stub out at the, I guess it would be on, what, the east
Yes, sir.
end, would it be a temporary cul-de-sac there?
Not on that short of one, there would not be.
Okay,
If it was a little bit longer, we would require temporary turnaround.
Okay,
Yes,
all
sir.
right.
And that stub out is left, if future development occurs to the east, they could actually get back out to Piney Grove Church Road, which is the next road over to the east. It's basically one tract of land away.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I suppose the question would be, I assume these are turkey houses?
Yes, sir.
That are adjoining?
Poultry houses, yes, sir.
Poultry houses that are very close to the lot line there. And I'm just wondering whether or not there's going to be required any buffer or anything there, because we certainly don't want these people that are buying the lot start complaining about any odors that may come from that.
Not unless you require it. There's not, the distance is, the ordinance does not require a buffer. There is an existing tree line that's there now. But I guess you could, require it as part of your preliminary approval. You could put a condition on it that it have a buffer there.
Well, isn't there a statute that says if a farm predates the subdivision,
Not that I'm aware of.
but they're on notice that it's
They're
there?
on notice of the legislature that's just approved over the governor's veto a limit on what a homeowner can get from an agricultural alleged nuisance.
That's what I thought.
But that's just
Okay.
that
Okay.
limits the amount.
Well, who would that be? Who expenses would it be on? If all of
If
a
you did a
sudden,
buffer, it should be on the developer, because
Be
the
on the
farmer
developer.
hasn't created the problem.
that's what I wanted to say out loud.
I mean, yeah, it definitely predates the subdivision, and I assume in looking at it there, they ought to be pretty evident of seeing it, but I just didn't want to conflict.
You could
I
require,
I wouldn't be in the market for one of them lots right there at it.
obviously, that would hurt their sale probably,
Yeah. Right.
It would limit some people that would buy it. You could require a 25-foot buffer like we would place along a railroad. Our ordinance does require buffering against a railroad, or a commercial use, but not agricultural. It does.
I think rather than trying to regulate it, I think the market's gonna take care of this.
I don't know that a berm or whatever would really make much difference. Anyway, the reason I say that, where I live, I'm not anywhere close to a turkey house or a hog house, but it depends on which way the wind's blowing. I mean, it goes right through it, doesn't matter. So if you move in the country,
Yeah.
that's
Smell-wise,
that's
it's
part
not
of
gonna matter.
the country life. You just need to understand that when you move there.
That's right.
So I don't let it bother me. And there are plenty of woodlands between me and those turkey houses, hog houses. That's just the way it is.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Chip, we can read it, but whenever these are put in, does the school system get a copy, and do they although you sent them a copy, I know that. But do they do any questioning you about size of population that may go in and so forth and so on? So they may get it, not peruse it. I mean, they may just.
But they have had discussions with Chip on looking at where their growth patterns are.
Well, that's
He's
what I was.
provided that information
That was
to
the
them.
question I was leading to, and maybe a little asterisk, because they need to be looking at population.
They are on the technical review committee and they get a copy of the preliminary. It's delivered to them, to the superintendent.
Ma'am.
I had a question. Are we requiring new subdivisions to have an HOA?
We don't require them, but the nature of open space, if you have open space, it's required, and if you have a stormwater detention device, it's required, because somebody has to take ownership of those areas. It's in the developer's best interest to put it into the homeowners association.
But we still have not addressed the issue of whether the DOT would take over the roads in that subdivision. In other words, my statement or question is that we are not any different now as far as regulations than we were 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Well, we have a statement on the map that the owner developer is responsible for the maintenance of the street until such time as it's turned over to DOT or it's turned over to the homeowners association.
Well, we've seen what that's worth.
Well, that hadn't always been there, though.
No.
Yeah, but it's not what the paper's written on. Yeah, it has. We have some subdivisions right now that it was. I've seen them, that the developer did, and it was not enforced. So I'm just bringing up the idea that 15, 20 years from now, are we still going to be in the same position as far as these roads and these subdivisions as we are now? That's all. I'm just bringing it up for us to think about. We need to address it somehow or other, and it's a statewide problem. We know that.
Well, it's a problem with the way the DOT accepts streets
Right.
onto the state system. It's not a county problem. It's
Yeah.
the way it's set up.
I understand, but we have no way of making sure that a petition to the DOT, once the subdivision is a percentage developed, we don't have any ordinances or anything that requires a developer to even file the paperwork. That's appalling to me. You know, it's just a matter of, we've got one today, a petition here for the DOT to take it over. Who's responsible for doing that? Nobody.
According to the general statutes, the original developer are the residents that live in the subdivision.
That's where the problem is. When you throw it back on the residents, we got the same issue we've got now. So it's just discussion. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Anything else? Thank you, Chip.
Yes, sir.
Let's see, where we at now? Okay. I guess that covers 4 and 5 there.
Well, 5 is,
Well, 5 is pretty perfunctory. I mean, Chip is here to talk about it, but basically it's just.
Well, we kind of discussed
But
the,
it's a standard request
Yeah, okay.
to put something into the state highway system. Obviously, anytime we can do that, we ought to do it. If they're willing to accept it, we need to put it in there. And I might add, this is Gateway, so we're actually requesting it. We want them to take the road over there.
oh, okay. All right, let's see, on 67, we were doing some more work on our personnel, was that it?
Yeah, this is just to put those changes in that Earl Merritt had come and talked with you about. Geraldine is not here yet. She'll be here at 9. As y'all know, she's having some knee issues. So, but she'll be here for the 9 o'clock meeting if you have any questions.
Okay.
But it's basically putting those things in place that he had come and talked with you about.
Giving him some more flexibility is what
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah, the only question I had was on the inspection, so.
Yeah, we've added that. We want to take that up 5%. she's looked at that one, and we think that needs to be done.
Okay, Park East.
I'm sorry, the other one was another road. This is the one to take the road into, that we're asking for from Gateway.
I looked at it, it said zero cost, or are they saying it's, doesn't need to be done?
It's zero cost. We did spend a little bit of money. We had to fix, I think, one intersection there, make some, we had to pay someone to do some asphalt work there, but, you know, they went through, the DOT went through, marked up for us what we needed to do. We did it, and we're ready to go. And WCDA's been pushing for this, and I agree with them that, you know, those roads need to be in the state system and get that maintenance off the county.
Jumping over to new business, and I guess Chip is gonna bring in his summer intern
Right,
and introduce him.
right. And then,
And then after that, Councilman Stevens is coming over to talk to us.
Right.
Is he still planning to come?
he wants to make a presentation.
Okay. Then, I also make a quarterly financial statement to us. We can just wait for it. Taking all this to them, you know, and you'll also do the one for the Tourism Development Authority as well. We'll let you do that. Then we have the comments from the county manager and the commissioners, and I believe we need a closed session this morning. We do.
Yes, sir.
And that, nobody,
To consider qualifications of proposed employee, to discuss the location of industry or business in the county, to determine purchase of property, and to consult with me to keep the attorney-client privilege.
is there a motion to go in closed session? So moved. That motion, all in favor, please, raise your right hand.